God, you are the builder of all things. Please guide us in this meeting. Help us to come up with effective strategies that can enable us to move forward as a team in a meaningful way. Help us to generate good plans that are practical, sustainable, and easily implemented. Guide us toward the best way to take action to accomplish our goals. Help us to tackle all the topics we need to discuss, come up with excellent solutions, and leave this meeting inspired and on time.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry.
Roll call.
Doug Brown.
Here.
Megan Bryant.
Here.
Larry Bud.
Here.
Steve Dennis.
Here.
Steve Dorchenez.
Present.
Kelsey Driscoll. Here. Jim Olive.
Present.
Chris Colton.
All aldermen are present. Motion to approve the omnibus vote designation. Motion of Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Skoltedi, questions or comments? Roll call.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Colton.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Minutes of the regular meeting held May 19th, 2025. Minutes of the Street and Sewer Committee meeting held May 22nd, 2025. Motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Olive, questions or comments? Roll call.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Colton.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
All right, motion carries 8-0. Tonight, we're gonna recognize the TJHS track team straight qualifiers and also the Taylorville High School. So I will first call the junior high athletes. If you'll stand up. Drake Hoy competed in the high jump and placed 6th. Ava Andriata competed in the pole vault and placed 4th. Chase Rinker competed in the pole vault and placed 2nd overall. These are your state qualifiers from the Taylorville Junior High. Please come forward. Whereas the 2025 TJHS track team shown perseverance, hard work, dedication, and great coaching. And whereas the 2025 TJHS track team had several members of the TJHS track team who qualified for state. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do I proclaim June 2nd, 2025 as TJHS Track Team Day. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, now the high school track team, IHS Boys State Track Meet. David Schaefer competed in an 800-meter run and finished with a time of 2:07 and placed 37th out of 39. Drake Howard competed in the pole vault and placed 6th overall. Drake's unable to be here. He's on his way to the Dominican Republic. Liam Bettis completed in the 3,200-meter run with a time of 9 minutes and 43 seconds and placed 11th overall. Now the girls' state track meet. The THS Tornado had 6 total events represented at the girls' state track meet. For individual events, Lila Repsher ran the 200-meter. The THS senior finished with a time of 12 seconds, .96, which gave her 34th place out of 39. Sophomore Elsie Williamson threw in both the shot put and the discus. In the shot put, Williamson finished 29th out of 31, throwing the shot put 9.56 meters. And Elsie finished 4th overall in the discus, final spiraling the discus a whopping 40 meters and 50.54. The youngest tornado featured at the state was freshman Elena Harker. She participated in the 3,200 meter race, finishing 16th overall with a time of 11 minutes, 31 seconds, .97, which was also a school record. The tornado team also ran in 2 relay races. The 4x200 meter relay team consisted of Lily Vale, Sydney Lois, Elsie Williamson, and Lila Repsher. They were timed in 1 minute 45.01 seconds, which puts them just outside the top 10, finishing 11th place overall. During the year, this team also had a school record. The 4x100 meter relay team consisted of Brooke Bonitzer, Lily Vale, Sydney Lois, and Lila Repsher. And they ran 52nd.61, which earned them 22nd place overall, and they also set a school record. Also in the state indoor track meet, Alyssa Andrietta set a school record in pole vault for indoor at 10 foot 4 inches, and also her outdoor school record of 10 foot 4 inches. So let's give them a round of applause. You want to come up here, please? This is going to sound a little bit repetitive, but whereas the 2025 THS track team has shown perseverance, hard work, dedication, and great coaching, whereas the 2025 THS track team had several members who qualified for state, now therefore I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do hereby proclaim June 3rd, which is tomorrow, 2025, as THS Track Team Day. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Nicely done. Congrats. Good job. Run on out of here.
Now, let me tell you about a special girl here on the track team. Her name is Lila Repsher. She set 5 school records this year. The indoor 60-meter dash, the indoor 200-meter dash, the indoor 4x200 relay, the outdoor 4x100 relay, and the outdoor 4x200 relay. So if Lila step forward, I guess. Whereas to really excel in any one sport, a young person must demonstrate, in addition to a great deal of natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And where Lila Repsher has set 5 school records in track, now therefore I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do hereby proclaim June 4th, 2025 as Lila Repsher Day. Congratulations. I think if we could just get some better coaching, we could probably do better.
I'll keep working.
Thank you very much. There's cake in my confidence. Thank you. Recommendations of the Planning Commission, Taco Bell and Taylorville Crestview. Mr. Kretzer?
Yes, Mayor. The Planning Commission would like to recommend the site plan for 601 North Webster, which is Taco Bell, by unanimous vote. we'd also like to recommend the Taylorville Community Credit Union site plan, 820 North Webster Street, as a unanimous vote also.
Thank you. So we need a motion to approve the recommendation of the planning commission.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Driscoll, questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll. Yes. Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Ordinance amending section 11-7-7 of chapter 7 of section 11.11-9-1 through 11-9-3 of chapter 9 of title 11 of the Taylorville City Code, surface water drainage. Motion to accept, to amend, by Alderman Skoltedi, second. Alderman Dorchenez, questions or comments? Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll. Yes. Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carried 9-0. Ordinance authorizing the master sales agreement with the Taylorville Development Association, the sale or purchase of the Taylorville Industrial Park. Motion by
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to
Alderman
table
Bud,
this. I'd like to
second.
make a motion to table this.
There's a motion on the floor to table this. Is there a second?
I've got a question.
Well, we gotta get a second to table if we
If
can.
you get a second, you can't even discuss that.
Right, so is there a second? Seeing no second to table it, is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Skoltedi, questions, Alderman Dorchenez?
Thank you. Rocky, I know, at our last meeting, you mentioned that there may be an issue if the TDA defaults on their loan, that the city may be on the hook for a certain amount of money because the state of Illinois, through their grant, provided the city money for the infrastructure. Did you find out anything more on that regarding this issue?
Yeah, there's like 4 different documents here, and there's no question that when this was first done, the city was considered to be a co-recipient of the loan that was given to be dispersed to the Taylorville Development Association for the purpose of constructing infrastructure at the Taylorville Industrial Park. When the award was granted, the city and TDA was considered co-recipients, and in the document of the financial assistance award, it says that by signing that, you agree to special award conditions. When you go through all the documents, and it's not very clear, but one of the special award conditions, TDA and the People's Bank had to sign an inter-creditor agreement. In that agreement, it provided that if TDA defaulted on their loan with the bank, well, first of all, the bank had to give the EDA the main priority on land. But that agreement signed by EDA, TDA, and the bank said that if the TDA defaults, EDA has the right to basically consider that a default under the special grant conditions. Under the special grant conditions, under the covenant of purpose, use, and ownership that was reported, it provides that if there's any breach of any condition of the award, which the intergovernmental credit agreement was one, then they have the right to declare the amounts that they gave under the grant back to EDA together with interest. Now, there is a question whether or not, it's a serious question, whether or not they can enforce that against the city. But I'm telling you, the documents are ambiguous enough, there is that possibility. I'm not here to tell you that absolutely, that if they would default, and still go through, EDA would have the right to go up to the city to get the grant repaid. After I look at the documents, it's probably not as clear as I once thought it was. It's skewed a little bit, so I'll give you that. But I mean, these documents are kind of confusing. That's why the other thing I was concerned about, I made this master sales agreement condition upon getting EDA approval to kind of eliminate that risk. And also the fact that there was some language in there that anytime
that property was sold to another entity, it had to be sold to an entity that would be eligible to get an award on themselves, which is obviously the city. I sent to you an email, late this afternoon, I got a reply back from the EDA Regional Council, the attorney, about 4 o'clock today, and I forwarded it to all of you. And they approved the master sale agreement. Should you decide to approve this ordinance tonight, they're okay with it. And the way it was worded with the master sale agreement, they say that satisfies the grant. If you don't approve the sale, I don't know what EDA would do. I don't know, okay? Whether or not they would go against TDA, which, as you know, doesn't have any assets to speak of, or whether they would try to run go after the city. But Steve, I think that's a long shot for them to try to go after the city. So, you know, for what it's worth, I'm not saying that if you don't vote for this, the city could be liable. I'm saying there's a risk that they could be liable. That's a long way to say, I hope they answered your question.
Thank you, Rocky.
All right, any other questions or comments? Roll call?
Kathy Driscoll.
No.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
No.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
No.
Motion carries 5 to 3.
No, Mary, you have
Vote
to
to.
vote.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries 6 to 3. Ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Business District Agreement by and between the City of Taylorville and the Taylorville News Lodge, number 1516, Loyal Order of the Moose, 720 McAdam Drive. Motion? Alderman Skoltedi, second.
Second.
Alderman Alden, questions or comments? Roll call?
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 9 to 0. Ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Business Development District Agreement by and between the City of Taylorville and David Patch at 123 East Main Cross Street. Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorsones, questions or comments? Roll call?
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 9 to 0. Ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Business District Agreement by and between the City of Taylorville and JB Properties of Illinois LLC, 1141 East, 1500 North Road. Motion by Alderman Skoltedi, second.
Second.
Alderman Bud, questions or comments? Roll call?
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 9 to 0. Ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Business District Agreement by and between the City of Taylorville and Taylorville Music Lessons, 311 South Main Street. Motion by Alderman Skoltedi, second.
Second.
Alderman Olive, questions or comments? Roll call?
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 9 to 0. Motion to recommend to the City Council to approve or accept the low bid from Illinois Valley Paving, a division of UCM Incorporated, in an amount of $1,240,579.26 for the Taylorville Food Center Street Improvement Project.
Motion or comment?
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comment? Comment, Alderman Bryant?
This 1.2 is coming out of UED, correct?
I don't believe it's all coming out of VTD, but I thought we were gonna use some ward funds and.
Oh, is it split, the 1.2 split?
I mean, they'll be mostly out of VDD. We'll use non-home rule tax, and the price that we talked about at the beginning of the project out of order.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call?
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries 9-0. Motion to recommend to the city council to authorize and direct the mayor to sign resolution to appropriate rebuild Illinois motor fuel tax funds for the West Main Cross Street project. Motion,
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorchenez, questions or comments? Roll call?
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to recommend to the city council to authorize and direct the mayor to sign the request for expenditure authorization of motor fuel tax fund for the West Main Cross Street project. Motion by
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call?
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to recommend to the city council to allow a pet waste station to be placed at the bike trail on Pawpaw Street. This will be paid for by the Lincoln Trail Conservancy Organization, and they will maintain this pet waste station. Did I miss one?
No.
Okay. So, pet waste station, so motion? Pardon? Alderman Brown, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorchenez, questions or comments? Roll call?
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to recommend to the city council to rent a handicap accessible porta potty from Whitlow Septic to be placed at the bike trail on Pawpaw Street. The city will pay Whitlow Septic $120 per month. This subject to receipt of an appropriate current certificate of insurance that adds the city, etc. as additional name insured. Motion by
So moved with
Alderman
comment.
Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Skoltedi, comment, Alderman Bryant.
I would like to amend that motion that after 2 weeks, if we don't have that, we go ahead and grant that to Nolan for the $20 additional,
$40
$40 additional.
Why don't we tell it, we'll do that, and we can vote, if we don't get the insurance, we can just vote on it in 2 weeks or to the next month, or the next council, which will be the 16th.
What's the difference in just
Nothing.
not having to vote on it again?
Yeah.
So,
Might be people that are at the 16th meeting that are here tonight that won't be at that meeting. So, you know, that's fine with me.
I would like to amend my motion to include that if it hasn't, the certificate of insurance hasn't been received in 2 weeks, we go ahead and award it for $40 more to Nolan.
My second for that.
You second, Chris, all right. There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to recommend to the city council to approve the donation of $5,000 to CCEDC.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Olive, I have some figures for you. Pass these around. This is money that we have received from CCEDC back over the last 13 years, which if you add it up, it totals over $54,000. So if we give $5,000 a year, that's $65,000. We've basically given them $11,000 over the last 13, 14 years.
So they haven't brought in anything since 2023?
Well, they had a problem with their, with the ordinance. They were giving us too much, so until we get that back taken. The ordinance says that us and the county are to split 25% of the proceeds. They were taking 50, giving us 25, and the county 25. Mike Blakeman found it 3 years ago that we were the city and the county was getting too much money back, and we were only supposed to get 12.5% each.
So how much more did they have to make up?
I think it's like under 5,000, but I'm not sure. It's right around $5,000 to $6,000. And I have a check that, somebody just wrote for $2,735 for enterprise on fees. We collect 0.5% of what the building materials cost. And it saves them, they either have to pay 8 or 9% depending on where they build it. So, this say for this instance, if you were gonna spend $200,000 in building materials, you would have to pay $18,000 in taxes from that.
And there's nobody here tonight from them asking if we have any questions or anything?
What's that?
Nobody from their organization?
Well, I had asked Matt Hart to come to our finance meeting on the 16th. He said he could not be here, so, I told him to put it on council. So, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions I might be able to answer? If not, roll call.
Chris Scoltetti,
Nope.
Doug Brown,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
No?
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Steve Dennis,
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
No.
Kathy Driscoll. No. Jim Olive,
Yes.
Motion is 4-4, mayor votes yes, motion carries 5-4. Committee reports, discussions and/or motions to approve, adopt, and/or deny, and/or table, and/or amend, and/or refer to the appropriate committee or whole or part in matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Street and sewer, Alderman Olive.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First motion I have is to recommend to the city council the purchase of a mosquito sprayer from McAdam for $12,000. I'd like to amend that to read $14,400 because they got it, the first bid was a verbal bid, and then they got it in writing. I think Mike sent out an email to everybody. So I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Olive, second.
Second.
Alderman Griswold, questions or comments? Roll call.
Doug Brown,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
Yes?
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Scoltetti.
Motion carries 8-0.
I'd like to recommend to the city council to approve the purchase of a trench box from Edinburgh at a cost not to exceed $5,000.
Motion by Alderman Olive, second.
Second.
Alderman Bud, questions or comments? Roll call.
Megan Bryant.
Yes?
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Scoltetti.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. City attorney update.
Yeah, the first thing I want to bring to your attention is under the Street and Sewer Committee meeting that was held on May 22nd, there was a motion made to approve Benton Associates to apply for an ITEP grant. I recognize in the minutes that grant had to be in by the 27th. I think to dot the i's and cross the t's, I would suggest you put that motion on the next council meeting to ratify, because when applications are in, they're supposed to be with the approval of the city, so it's just a thought. So next meeting. I'll bring your attention again to the Ridge Minor subdivision matter that I sent an email out to everyone on May 26th. They're asking for the city to accept the public improvements out there, and I gave you kind of a checklist, and I think Bill Slade needs to take a look at it. He's probably looked at it, but there's some things need to be done before it comes back on the council to approve the public improvements pursuant to city code. So I remind you to take a look at that. Also, you've been getting some information, an update. I try to give you some documents on this claim that the city has against Maritime Health. I written a letter, it's gonna go in with the attorneys from the time that was to write a letter. I don't know if that letter's gone out yet, on their behalf yet, so we can hear about that. And then you've also received some communications from
Dry Dock for the completion of the bike trestle. Thank you to the city of Pana, for getting that taken care of. Thank you to Bud Altman and LPTC. Thank you to Fred Dubay and the Powwow. It was a nice event at the lake. I hope everyone was able to go there. We've accepted the bids for resurfacing of the roads around the Taylorville Food Center. And thank you to Small Town Taylorville for the car show on the first Friday of each month. And again, we will again be hosting the 4th of July parade at 10 a.m. Line up at the fairgrounds will be around 9:30. I will be hosting my hot dog luncheon immediately after. And thank you. Motion to approve or ratify payment of bills, $323,068.26. Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
With the comment.
Alderman Bud with the comment. Comment?
What we pulled from the bills, there's a property tax due in a house that was tore down on, Second Street last year. With the lien and everything on that property, we decided that the taxes and everything, we would have like $9,000 invested in that property. It's not even near worth that. So we're gonna let it go back to the, person that bought the taxes and let them deal with all of that, not us. It'll save us money.
Anything else? Roll call.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dennis.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Schultz.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. First subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. Illinois Opens Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1FC mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Anyone out there like to address the council?
I have a question. I have a question for you, Rocky, and this is, I'm gonna ask this question and I wanna preface it with, it's just a question, okay? When we agree for you to represent both sides of, an agreement, do we have the right to see the terms of your agreement with the other party?
Sure.
We do? Okay. That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any other body like to address the council? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Skoltedi, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned, 7:30.